and happy holidays to everyone out there, all of our viewers. Happy holidays to you, Dave.
Happy holidays,
How are you
my
today?
friend. I'm well. This is lucky episode 13, our holiday episode, and we have a full house today. We welcome everybody in our studio audience.
So we have a lot going on. You and I only have a couple minutes to play around here at the beginning today. Why don't we talk a little bit about the show that's in store? Really a holiday show. Because our viewers celebrate a lot of different things. Some celebrate Christmas, some Hanukkah, some Kwanzaa.
That's right.
Why don't you give us a rundown of what's going on here on today's episode?
We have Mary Sampe from St. John the Evangelist Roman Catholic Parish here in Uniontown. Is going to be talking a little bit about Christmas traditions, both spiritual and secular. We have Myrna Giannopoulos from the Tree of Life Synagogue talking about Hanukkah and giving us a great lesson on that, and also sort of a show and tell as well with the good ladies from the East End United Community Center to tell us a little bit more about Kwanzaa. We have Dr. Norma Thomas and Ms. Pat Jones, the executive director there.
Exciting day, exciting day. Now there's a lot of things that are going on in the Fayette County area, and I was out in Connellsville the other day. Stopped at Artworks and ran into our buddy Mike Edwards out there, and he passed on a new publication that they're doing, or a relatively new publication, called the Connellsville Crossroads. This is the Winter 2012 edition. These are sold for $10 a piece, is that right, Dave?
Yep.
And you were reading it a little bit earlier.
I was really impressed. You know, you see some tourism-oriented magazines and things like that that really kind of tend to have a lot of filler, a lot of advertisements. For folks that are, interested, folks that are interested in local history, local culture, there's a lot of really great content created by local people in this magazine. And I believe Michael was telling us that folks can get a subscription to that as well. I believe it's published quarterly, so it comes out 4 times a year, once each season, and kind of keeps you updated on a lot of the community events that are happening in Connellsville and surrounding areas.
A lot of copy. I've noticed some of the magazines, even that I subscribe to at home, have really gone heavy on pictures and ads. So there's a lot that you can sit down and read.
Recipes in that one. I think there's a recipe for halupki.
There is a recipe for halupki, communion bread from the Brethren Church out there, fried fish, number of different things. So great publication coming out. It's local, something we wanted to touch on.
You can get that at Artworks in Connellsville.
You can get it at Artworks.
That's right.
You can subscribe to it, but Artworks is right down Crawford Avenue.
Right downtown, yep.
Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of fun stuff that's going on, but without any further ado, I think we should probably open up with our musical guest, one
of our 2 musical guests today. We also have the Brownsville area high school marching band coming on later. I'm so excited about that.
This is a small room for a marching band.
It is. We managed to fit them in.
Don't know how that's going to happen, but it should be exciting. So without any further ado, Miss Taylor Hackley.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. at the sight, glory streams from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born.
So let's talk a little bit about you as a performer. You are a former finalist with Fayette County Idol. You've performed on a couple different stages before. You have some experience behind you, but you're also a graduate of the broadcast program at California University. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
So, so I understand that your favorite musical era is that of kind of the 1940s. Now you don't look that old. How does someone like you become a fan of big band era music?
I mean, I love all types of music, but there's something about big band music that, I don't know, I love every second of it. I love that it's all instruments, it's not fake, it's not computerized, it's real good music that you can dance to.
So
I love
favorite
it.
big band, Tommy Dorsey, Glenn Miller, who are you pulling for?
Probably Glenn Miller, definitely.
Glenn Miller?
Yeah.
Okay. So how does that influence you as a performer? You like big band. Does that make you pick different songs whenever you perform, or?
I think I like singing in more of kind of a jazzy tone of voice, so that kind of goes back to the big band music more so than singing country or any other type of style. So.
Okay, so music isn't all you've done. You've done some musical theater as well. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've done some acting in middle school, high school, and college. Tried to keep up with that, and it's so fun. I just love acting, and I love singing. And when you get dancing, it's crazy, but oh my gosh, the memories are priceless. I love doing that stuff.
Okay, well, hey, I want to thank you for being with us again. You're going to close
Thank
out the
you.
show with the band that's going to be moving in here in just a couple minutes.
Yes.
But talk about a big band. I don't know how they're going to fit in this quarter. But final question.
Mm-hmm.
You went to school for broadcast. You perform a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Broadcaster, musician. What would you pick if you got to pick one or the other?
That's tough.
Where's your heart lie?
I think my heart lies with singing. I'm
Okay.
gonna say
Okay.
singing.
Well, you did a great job singing here to open us up today.
Thank
Let's
you.
give Taylor another round of applause, and we'll be back after these brief messages. Promotional consideration by Judy's Do Re Mi.
This is the season for giving. Support your neighbors, friends, and family. Buy local. Boomer and Miss B went holiday shopping. Miss B shopped at locally owned businesses. Boomer did not. Who helped the local economy more? Boomer's impact on the local economy was small. Miss B bought local, and 80% of the money she spent stayed here in Fayette County. Join Boomer and Miss B this holiday season and look for the logo of the Fayette County Buy Local Network when you shop.
Okay, well, thank you for staying with us. Joining me now is Myrna Giannopoulos. Myrna, you're from the Tree of Life Synagogue
Yes.
in Uniontown, correct?
Correct.
And you're going to be telling us a little bit about the customs or traditions of Hanukkah. Now, have you been observing the Jewish faith your entire life?
Of course.
Okay.
I grew up in the synagogue in Uniontown.
Okay, great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the things you have here in front of us today?
This holiday is one of the minor holidays.
Okay.
It's to be celebrated at home.
Okay.
I brought with me my duckies.
Okay.
This is a children's menorah.
Okay.
I brought my grandmother's menorah, who has the Maccabees. And then this one's just a decorative plastic one that everybody goes, oh, how pretty. And then I brought potato latkes that we're going to make in the microwave for everybody here.
Okay.
And there's a package for everybody that has,
For all of our guests out
yes,
here today.
for everybody,
Okay.
that has the dreidel, the game, how to play it, and what the symbols on the dreidel mean. And there's some candy, because we always give candy. And the candy is money, because I'm not giving you money. But it's a tradition to give money. So we give candy money, chocolate money. And you can, there's some erasers and just a few things. There's a lot of little things up here too. And then the Star of David is on all of our things. And this is my little friend. He's a boy's bear, and he was made special for the Hanukkah season for the Boyd's Company before they closed their doors. And the Star of David is the symbol. It's on the Jewish flag. It's everywhere. I have some printouts up here if anybody cares to look at them and see what we do. And the synagogue is open. If you want to stop on Saturdays, we're there in the morning for services at 10 o'clock.
So, Myrna, if you don't mind me asking, living in a predominantly Christian area, kind of like Uniontown, is there anything that you ever felt is misunderstood about your faith? Any misconceptions that your neighbors may have, or?
It used to be. It's changed a lot. Television has really changed it. People understand more now, and they're more willing to come to our service, to come to see what we do. And I've taken my children when they were younger, and we cut up the phone book, and we put all the churches in a fishbowl, and we picked one, and we would go and call them and find out where their services were, what time they were, and if we were allowed to come. That way, I made sure that my children had a full range of knowledge. A
So-
lot of people don't do that.
Very, very interesting. So let's talk a little bit more about Hanukkah. From my understanding, it's a rededication of a holy temple in Jerusalem. Is that correct?
Yes.
And why is it such a celebration?
It's not really a celebration. The Greeks had taken over,
Okay.
and the Israelites were out to avenge themselves. They fought and they won. Now, to dedicate the temple, you have to burn oil. They only had enough for one day. But then they had a miracle happen. They sent the man to go get oil and have it pressed and bring it back. And that one day's supply of oil lasted 8 days. And that's why it's called the candles or the lights. And
So that's why you have 8 lights on the menorah,
Right.
symbolizing each of the days.
Right.
And in your center here, number 9.
that is your helper.
Okay.
You never light your candle direct.
Okay.
The mother usually lights the candles. But at Hanukkah, they want everybody to have a chance. That's why they have ones for children, ones for adults.
Okay. So you would light your other candles from the
You
center?
put them in from left to right, but you light them from right to left.
Okay.
And we read from the books we read are backwards. Our prayer books are
Sure.
backwards.
Okay. So you brought some food with you here today.
Yes.
Are these
This is
traditional?
traditional. Yes.
Okay.
It's very traditional.
So why don't we talk a little
You
bit
eat
about
a lot
that?
of fried food.
A lot of fried food. Okay.
This is fried food that we're going to make in the microwave. We're going to Americanize it. Usually they like sour cream on their potato latkes or applesauce, so I brought a little bit of both.
Okay.
And we're going to throw them in the microwave.
Now these are something you can pick up at a grocery store already done?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
There's a symbol on the bag. It's a little U in a circle.
Okay.
That means it's kosher.
Okay.
You can't bring anything into the synagogue that is not kosher. A lot of our food has to come from Pittsburgh because we do not have a kosher deli here.
Okay.
A lot of food we can get right from Shop and Save, Giant Eagle, Adrian's. All the grocery stores carry it now. Like the sour cream,
Sure.
there's a symbol on the back, this one. It's a triangle,
Okay.
and it says kosher on it.
Right there. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and microwave these for the guests
We'll-
that are in the
yes.
audience here today?
And how do you work this one? This is yours.
I think it maybe just push the number of how many minutes you want.
Let's try 2.
There you
Oh,
go.
it works.
Okay, so we can go ahead and let that microwave a little bit. And then you said traditionally it would be eaten with sour cream.
Sour cream or
applesauce.
applesauce. Now I put some plates out on each table
Sure.
with the forks and napkins because they are a little bit greasy,
Okay.
and but they're a little bit more spicy than what you would consider a hash brown or a mashed potato or a fried potato.
Okay. Okay, well, I think our studio audience is going to enjoy those during our break, but I want to thank you for coming out. Is there
Oh, you're
anything that
welcome.
I missed here today that you want to share with us about
No,
Hanukkah?
it's just a fun holiday. It's 8 days, and the kids know when they need to turn those lights on because that means they're going to get money.
Well, thank you very much for
Thank
being
you.
with us. We have to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Going Live with FCTV. Promotional consideration by Judy's Do Re Mi. Thank you for staying with us. We are back with Going Live with FCTV. Joining Dave and I here on the couch is Mary Sampe. Mary, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
We're going to talk a little bit about Christmas and some of the traditions, but let's talk a little bit about yourself first. You're the pastoral minister at St. John's in Uniontown, the
Yes.
Evangelist Roman Catholic Church. So what does a pastoral minister do exactly?
The pastoral minister is basically like an assistant to the pastor. So anything that is going on in our church, I'm either helping Father Jim Trinkies with it, or I'm helping him run it, or I'm running it myself, whether it be anything with spiritual direction or something with faith formation, especially with youth ministry, anything going on inside of the church as far as the liturgical ministries. I might help plan the schedules for the Eucharistic ministers, for cantors. So anything that's going on, a prayer service, I'm usually helping him out with that, or running it with another lady that I work with who's the director of faith formation. We kind of collaborate with each other.
Sure, sure. So Christmas is celebrated really by Christians and non-Christians now. It's kind of a secular holiday. But there's some weeks that lead up to Christmas for Christians, the period of Advent. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that time?
The time of Advent is really a time for us to prepare ourselves for the birth of Jesus. We spend a lot of time in prayer. We spend a lot of time just recalling what it truly means, what Christmas truly means. And for Christians especially, it's not just about getting presents or Santa Claus or anything like that. We're preparing for our Savior to be born, for Christ to be born on Christmas. So there are 4 weeks leading up to Christmas. And then we usually have an Advent wreath that we light as well. People sometimes light them in their homes as well. And there are 3 purple candles and a pink candle on the 3rd week, symbolizing that we're getting closer. It's kind of like the hopeful time that we're getting closer to Christmas.
Okay. So Christmas, the Christmas holiday itself is celebrated within the church and is very meaningful. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how Christmas is celebrated within the church itself?
Sure. What usually happens is we always have a Christmas Eve service, and that's the time where we really are celebrating the vigil of Christmas and that Christ was born. And it's not even so much about the baby. We think about a baby in a manger, but we're talking about our Savior that came to die for our sins on the cross. So we're really trying to focus a lot on that throughout the evening. We always decorate, of course, like you have here, sometimes very elaborately in our churches to celebrate the child coming. And then we have a midnight service, and that's always my personal favorite. I don't know if a lot of other churches still have that, but at my church we do still have a midnight service. And it's just something about it, that it's midnight. It just feels like, oh, it's Christmas now. It's really happening, and he's coming. And we usually have a service at midnight. This year we have our adult choir singing a cantata before Christmas. So it'll start at 11:30, and then and I'm in the choir, and then we celebrate Mass at midnight, and the celebration kind of lasts all night almost. So you come home and you open your presents and you spend time with your family, and we also have a Christmas morning service as well. So the celebration kind of lasts throughout Christmas Eve up until the morning.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned singing, you mentioned some music. For you personally, do you have a favorite Christmas hymn or Christmas carol, or?
Oh, that's so hard. I don't know. I would have to say a lot of the Advent hymns I really enjoy, because they're just so meaningful and they really bring you back for the reason why we're celebrating
Kind of
this
help
season.
people to prepare.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Instead of just jumping into it or thinking about, oh, what do I have to buy and what do I have to do before Christmas and all the hustle and bustle, it makes you kind of stop and think about what we're really celebrating.
Absolutely. So we talked about singing a little bit. We talked about going to church. How about traditional foods? Are there any foods that are associated with Christmas, maybe for you or your family or within your church?
Well, I'm Italian, so we have the 7 fishes at my house. At my grandmother's house, we always prepare that. We also have at my church, we sell Christmas wafers.
Oh, plutki, I believe they call it?
Yes, plutki, and we sell those for $2, and it almost looks like colored styrofoam.
Okay.
Almost. So we eat those a lot during the holidays. They have pictures on them, different pictures, religious pictures on them.
Okay.
And that's something a family could share before the meal begins,
Exactly.
maybe.
Exactly.
Or
They
they
might
say a
break
prayer.
that or say
Yeah.
a blessing and then eat it.
Now, you mentioned the 7 fishes, and we're running a little bit short on time here, but I'm not Italian, so I
Yeah.
don't know anything about that. Can you fill us in?
Oh, it's awesome. Well, first of all, there's lots of pasta, of course, and lots of garlic involved.
Okay.
But it usually takes several days to prepare the meal, and I don't know exactly all of the 7 fishes because I've only gone to learn from my grandma a couple past years. We've gone to kind of be tutored so that we could prepare it one day for our families. But they have the salted cod that you have to rinse, and calamari, different things that. We have tuna involved. So, and I think it can be different for every family. It does different
Sure.
kinds of fish. So it doesn't have to be anything real specific. But as long as there's 7 there and lots of garlic and cheese and pasta and bread and wine, of course, then it's a good celebration.
Okay. Well, Mary, we thank you very much for being with us and for sharing a little bit about Christmas at your church. Your church is St. John's the Evangelist, Roman Catholic Church in
Yeah.
Uniontown. And if someone would be interested in attending one of your masses over Christmas or at any point in time, how could they find out more information about the church?
Absolutely. You can either call the parish.
Okay.
We also have a website, sjeparish.org.
Okay.
You can also go on the Diocese of Greensburg website and access our page through that. Or, of course, you could just contact me at the Parish Center and ask for me.
Okay.
And I'll be happy to tell you anything about our parish that you'd like to know. Our masses run 5:30 on Saturday, and on Sunday 8:30 and 10:30. And like I said, we have a 5 o'clock evening Christmas Eve and a midnight mass at Christmas.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mary. If you all stay with us, we'll be back in just a few minutes after a short break to learn a little bit about Kwanzaa.
A few years ago, I was at a dead end, underemployed, with no idea of where my life was headed. Then I enrolled at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology's School of Healthcare Careers and discovered a great career and great life was only months away. Now, I've started the career of my dreams, and the future couldn't be brighter.
The School of Healthcare Careers at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology offers career-focused, hands-on training for these in-demand fields. Call 724-437-4600 or visit piht.edu for information.
Promotional consideration by Judy's Do Re Mi. Thank you for staying with us, going live with FCTV. Joining me now is Pat Jones. Pat, you're the Executive Director of the United East End Community Center. Did I get that name correct?
The Eastern United Community
East End
Center.
United Community. I've been
Yes.
practicing all afternoon and I missed that. Okay, and then also with us, Dr. Norma Thomas. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about the celebration of Kwanzaa. And I was told today that we're supposed to say joyous Kwanzaa. That's correct. I guess that's the correct term or the official greeting. So joyous Kwanzaa to you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the celebration?
And it's actually Habari Gani,
Okay.
which is what's the news.
Okay, what's the news?
So it's
There we go.
Habari Gani. So To tell you a little bit about Kwanzaa, it started in 1966 by Dr. Maulana Karenga. He started it at the height of the civil rights movement to give people of African descent a holiday that they could celebrate. It is not a religious holiday, so we always like to emphasize that. It's not a religious holiday. Kwanzaa means first fruits. And so a lot of the terms to describe Kwanzaa symbols are Kiswahili symbols, and Kiswahili was the language selected because it doesn't belong to a particular tribe or group. It's spoken throughout Africa. So when I describe some of the symbols, I'll use Kiswahili terms, but generally we'll use English to keep from butchering.
So you mentioned that it's not a religious holiday. Could one then potentially celebrate Christmas and Kwanzaa?
Sure. I belong to St. John the Evangelist Church.
Okay.
So we celebrate Christmas and Kwanzaa and every other holiday that
Sure.
we want to celebrate. But again, Kwanzaa is not religious.
Okay. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the items that we have out here on the table today?
Well, the items, first there is a mat, because that's the foundation. There is a kanara, similar to the, a menorah, but
Sure.
the kanara, which holds 7 candles and represents 7 principles, 7 aspects of life that you can celebrate all year. So you don't just celebrate them necessarily at the time of Kwanzaa. So they represent 7 symbols, 7 principles. There is a cup that is a communal cup. So if we were doing a Kwanzaa celebration, especially if we're at one's house, we would share that cup. There are fruits and vegetables. What's missing here is the mahindi, which is corn, which represents every child in the home. So we would have mahindi, and we might also have what's commonly referred to as the Black Liberation Flag with the colors red, black, and green. The black represents the people, the red represents the struggle, and the green represents the future.
Okay. Thank you. So what you told us a little bit about the origins of the holidays, about the fact that there are 7 principles. Why is it important for African Americans to kind of reconnect with their heritage through this and other celebrations?
Well, I think it's good for everyone to connect to their cultural heritage. If you don't understand your culture, then sometimes you are lost. And so connecting to one's culture means that you are not lost, that you're connected to a larger group of people throughout the world, and that, in fact, you have principles that you can share, that you can follow. It's a very family-oriented tradition. It's geared to the children. So we do have gift giving, but it's not commercial, even though because it's this time of year, everybody tries to make it commercial. But sometimes you will see Kwanzaa cards. We don't do Kwanzaa cards, and we don't do gifts except for small handmade gifts, or you might give fruit, but it's not a holiday that is material.
Okay. So do you anticipate, maybe for Pat, that many of the members of the East End Community Center celebrate Kwanzaa, or do you do anything special at the center?
Well, we are hoping that at the center, because we are an educational facility and we try to show young people all modes of different events that they could participate, we would hope to think that they would try and, come to the Kwanzaa event that's scheduled. Dr. Thomas will give you the exact date for that, but that they would learn, if they don't know or understand how, what Kwanzaa is, or even have just general questions as to, the certain things that they need in order to prepare for it. So, once again, for any of the students or the people living in the East End Community Center or near it, but you just don't have to live near the center. Throughout Fayette County, our doors are always open to the public to visit with us.
Okay.
And our Kwanzaa celebration is December 28th at 6 o'clock, our intergenerational male mentoring program, or the sponsors. And so it's potluck, because on the last day of Kwanzaa starts on December 26th, it ends on January 1st. But on the 31st, there's always a big feast. We are going to do our celebration on the 28th, but the 31st, there's a big feast, and we're just doing potluck. So hopefully there'll be enough potluck that everybody will get food that day.
So we mentioned the community center, and I know we have a lot packed into our show today,
Yes.
so I want to give you a couple minutes or a little bit of time to talk a little bit about the center, because I know you're doing some great work there through your adolescent programs, your after-school programs, the Caring Corner. Why don't you
Yes.
tell us about some of those things?
Yes, thank you so very much for the few minutes given to me, and I hope to try and incorporate all the things that the general audience could be aware of. First of all, the East End Community Center recently was housed maybe 4 years ago into a brand new building that's located on 150 Cool Spring Street in Uniontown. So if anyone's familiar with Connellsville Street and Cool Spring Street, within that vicinity, that's where we are located. But previous to that building being built in 1975, East End Community Center was actually on the corner of Route 40 headed towards the mountains in a large old historical type of home. And because the programs enhanced and they grew and developed, it was time for a new building. Since that time, we've had a variety of programs, as a matter of fact. One of the most important programs that we're known for is the after-school programs. And we sponsor some of the students within the Laurel Highlands School District in the 21st Century, which we recently awarded a grant. We also have grades K through 6th grade with a lot of the children from Lafayette School District, within the Uniontown School District. And also we have, through the workforce investment for ages 14 through 18 years old, an in-school program. We don't have the out-of-school through workforce, but we have the in-school program where we teach career exploration with the 40 developmental assets as well as career exploration. So we invite speakers throughout the county to come out, talk about business, talk about college, and present information to our students who live within that community who otherwise would not be given the resources. Those are direct resources that they could connect with. And after that, if they learned and they appreciated and they've explored all those avenues between the grades of 9th and 12th grade, then we try and give them some transitional information into post-secondary education, whether it's college or a skilled type of career to move them on. Other than that, we do have a Caring Corner program, and it's a grief support program for individuals and families. There are sessions for the training, and we try and help those that otherwise would not want the clinical support, the non-therapeutic support, because we cannot professionally offer that, but we ask them to come out and maybe participate in groups with other people, sort of a community-based type of an effort to help them get back into the community and feel important or feel loved so that they're not as lost once they've lost someone in their family or someone that's close to them. We're always aspiring to invite people out so that we can grow into even more avenues. In the spring, we're hoping on having more events to invite the public. We're always doing fundraising. We did do a very thank you to all the donors that helped to support us, because without that, most nonprofits would not be able to thrive. So once again, we would like to thank those who have given to us throughout the year as well.
Well, I want to thank you ladies for being with us and
Thank
for
you.
explaining a little bit about what probably a lot of our viewers may not have a whole lot of knowledge about. Very interesting. You know, I think a lot of people make that misconception that it's another religious holiday, but it's something that, you know, can be enjoyed to celebrate your heritage, and I think that's fantastic. The community center, I've been in the building before, gorgeous building, a lot of good programs going on there. Why don't we give some contact information? If someone wants to utilize your services, how do they go about that?
Yes, they can call 724-437-1660 and ask for Patricia Jones. I am the executive director, and I will be there anytime between Monday and Thursday from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening. If you cannot get a hold of me, just leave a message and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Once again, at 724-437-1660.
Okay, Pat, Dr. Thomas, thank you very much, both of you, for being with me
thank
today. And we will be back after just a brief message with one of my favorite segments, perhaps of the all year. We're going to take a note from Oprah's playbook and talk about my favorite things, since it is gift-giving time, and there still may be time for people to get me something for Christmas.
Yes.
So we'll be back after these messages.
This is the season for giving. Support your neighbors, friends, and family. Buy local. Boomer and Miss B went holiday shopping. Miss B shopped at locally owned businesses. Boomer did not. Who helped the local economy more? Boomer's impact on the local economy was small. Miss B bought local, and 80% of the money she spent stayed here in Fayette County. Join Boomer and Miss B this holiday season and look for the logo of the Fayette County Buy Local Network when you shop.
Promotional consideration by Judy's Do Re Mi. Well, hey, thank you for staying with us. Dave, you're back on the couch wearing a hat this time.
Our chief videographer, Harry, equipped me with a holiday wardrobe here, so...
He did?
Yeah, he sure
it matches
did.
your sweater. You're good to go?
I'm good to go.
So we're going to talk about my favorite things, and not only are these my favorite things, but these are my favorite Fayette County
things.
items,
Uh-huh.
or at least regional items, things that you may be able to give for a Christmas gift, if you're looking for a stocking stuffer. So let's go ahead and break into these. I know you've been talking to some of the people who provided them.
Right.
Interesting red box here.
It
A
is.
small red box.
The contents are very tasty.
They are. I'm a diabetic, so this shouldn't be one of my favorite things, but it is. I love Christmas candy. Okay, so you can find Christmas candy from several different local vendors, one of which is Jean and Boots. That's who donated these small items. And everyone in the studio audience, you'll be receiving a sampler pack from Jean and Boots here today, so you'll be taking that home with you. But I love Christmas candy. You want a piece of Christmas candy?
I would love one.
Can you? You probably can't chew and talk at the same time, but that's okay.
Jean and Boots, I'll take a rain check. Jean and Boots, located in Perryopolis, as I believe their main location. They've been in business since 1930, and then they're also in Uniontown Mall. For a lot of our viewing audience, that would be the closest location.
Now, I probably don't have time to get sidetracked, but my wife, she runs a store, Pearl Vision, in the Uniontown Mall. She's there all the time. In fact, one of her customers, a mall walker that comes in and talks to her, Herschel from Point Marion, watches our show all the time. So
hi, Herschel.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Herschel. But Jean and Boots is in the Uniontown Mall, is why I was going down this road. Best hot dogs.
Best hot dog in town.
Did anyone know that Jean and Boots sells hot dogs? No,
I did,
but candy, great Christmas gift. Not only Jean and Boots, there's Sarah's Candy that's right across the river. Colebrook Chocolate is out of Connellsville, PA. Someone's going to go home with a prize pack today, and part of that prize pack has been donated by Colebrook Chocolate. So we have a lot of gifts.
Colebrook has a brand new storefront in the Martin's grocery store plaza, and they have some really neat candy and chocolate creations up there.
Okay, so the holidays are rough. You're buying gifts. You're carrying stuff out of Sears. You're loading it in the back of your car. You're taking it home, and your back hurts. How about a massage?
Sounds excellent.
Okay, so I think that would be a good Christmas gift for anyone, a massage. There are local places where you can get one. Some of the salons offer them. But did you know that the students and staff at Laurel Business Institute offer all of those things that they're teaching their students about, and they're very good. I've been there before. So our studio audience is going to have a free massage. You have a coupon in your kit. Free massage from Laurel Business Institute, so you'll be taking that home with you here today.
That's a 15-minute chair massage, and it's a really nice introduction to massage. LBI, their students do hot stone massages. They do pregnancy massages.
Where's Mary?
But yeah, that would, and you know what? The neat thing about massage therapy and LBI's program is it's one of the only associate's degree programs for massage therapy in the area. Even in the Pittsburgh area, it's really unique what they have there. And students come out of that program and can work in resorts for chiropractors, in medical centers, rehabilitation centers, and you can get a massage and know that you're giving these student masseuses massage therapists, some practical experience.
Okay.
While you're at it.
So practical gifts, you know, especially in a time like this, practical gifts are always nice.
Right.
You know, my grandmother is in a wheelchair. I don't always know what to get her. Sometimes I go out and get her a gift certificate for a haircut, or for, you know, to get herself made up and to feel a little better. So our buddies over at Pompadour Salon, you guys may know G. He's been on the show before. He has a gift certificate for everyone in the audience to get a free haircut. He has just bought a new salon.
Brand new location there in the former 4-Star Pizza / Pizza Hut there in Hopwood. Lot of space to work with, and it's, you know what, you go in there and you're treated like a friend. You're only a stranger once there. It's a really friendly atmosphere, and they get to know you and your needs and your preferences.
The best thing about his staff, they will do high-end hair, they'll do whatever you're looking for, but they're all a family. You know, it's G, it's his dad, it's his wife, it's some family friends, and you know, I lose a half day every time I go to get my haircut.
Right.
That's why it gets so long, because I don't always have that time. But I go out there and we have a good time.
Gennaro competes in
have some coffee, have some popcorn. His competitions.
I was going to say, Gennaro competes in international shows. He's up on the latest trends. You can get some big city styles right here in the middle of Fayette County at Pompadour Salon in Hopwood.
Okay, now just because we're here in Fayette County, there's a lot of sightseeing, a lot to do, but it doesn't mean that there's not great entertainment out there. And we talked about functional pieces. One of my favorite places to go see a show or to go experience something is the State Theater Center for the Arts in Uniontown. All our guests today are going to go home with a ticket to any show during the 2012-2013 season. Those are worth about $60 a piece. So you'll get a free seat to one of the shows.
The Grand Old Lady of Main Street.
Grand Old Lady of Main Street. We were just there less than a month ago for Share the Spirit, having a good old time. But there are some great shows coming
Fiddler
up.
on the Roof is coming.
Fiddler on the Roof. And, you know, people sometimes talk about driving to the city, going to Pittsburgh, going to a lot of the same exact. In fact, I know when they sit down to put this production guide together, the same people that do the shows in Pittsburgh stop here in Uniontown and a lot of times do them after Pittsburgh. So they practice on the city and then they come here to Fayette County to do the show. State Theater Center for the Arts. Our friend Erica and Suzanne and Pat over there, some nice ladies. Now, other stocking stuffers. Dave, are you a reader?
I'm a big reader. I normally
Did you read what Harry has on your hat there?
I don't know if one of our camera operators could zoom in on that. I suppose it's a little embarrassing, but Santa Claus knows you can't hide it.
So we're talking about reading local authors, the gems that are local books. And I wonder if a lot of people know that they exist or that they're out there. We're going to highlight each of them just for a moment or two.
Emil Etheridge, he's
Emil
here today.
Etheridge
Mr. E, as his students call him, and his athletes.
Here in the audience, you want to talk a little bit? He has 3 different books. And you're going to get one of the books that we talk about here today is in your prize pack, in your package for the audience members that are here in our live studio audience today. Why don't you talk a little bit about those books you have in your hand?
Well, Mr. E, as I said, wanted to get him on the show here today. We're running a little short on time, so we have to get him on one of our upcoming shows. But this is his book, The Spotlight and the Magnifying Glass. And also Good Coach, Bad Coach. So a lot of wisdom shared from his years in coaching, talking a little bit about how coaches, parents, athletes are role models. You're really in sort of a fishbowl when you're in one of those roles, and the way you act and the way you behave and set an example is really important. Also, his other book here, I Was Mad at God, talks a little bit about the darkest day really in Mr. E's life and how he rebounded from that. Really inspirational story, and as I said, all these are autographed by the author himself, Mr. Emil Etheridge Jr.
Okay, so those are great stocking stuffers you can pick up different places. Other local author, he's regional, a little further out than Fayette County, but he was on our show just recently.
And definitely the subject matter is applicable to us here in Fayette County.
Tom Baker, Get Involved, Making the Most of Your 20s and 30s. A book he put together, very interesting. You know, he's been out of college maybe about 10 years now. When he was in college, he was a member of their student body council or whatever you would call it. One of his best friends that was very involved graduated from college, got a good job, and then fell into being a little bit of a barfly, got some DUIs, lost his job. His life was kind of in the ringer, And Tom's book says, how not to fall into that pattern and how to get involved instead in things that can really be positive influences on your life, helping nonprofits and different organizations. Great book. Get involved. If you have a kid out there that's home from college break, they may make fun of you if it's in their stocking, but a great book.
A lot of value in that book.
A lot of value there. Now, why don't we talk about Hellbender for a second?
Oh man, some creative fiction right here, and but Jason Jack Miller, he creates characters that are so powerful that it's not going to feel like fiction. You're going to put that book down feeling like you just made some new friends with his characters.
What's funny about this book, and I like to read. I don't get a whole lot of time to do it, but I fall into like these patterns where I'll just sit and read half a book.
It's easy to do.
Yeah, and his book's an easy one to do that.
Very engaging.
This is a new take on the deal with the devil.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Charlie Daniels fan, you're probably going to like this. In fact, it's written kind of in that rock style. He's a musician as well. And I think you can see that influence. But a deal with the devil kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hellbender. Jason is right from the Uniontown area. In fact, he's currently teaching at Seton Hill University, as well
Adjunct
as
creative writing faculty, I think, is what
as
he
well
does
as at Uniontown High School,
Yep.
at least right now. But his book has been picked up by some different people, and they just did a big book release party for it. And I look for that to most likely be big nationwide, but right here from home in Fayette County.
I can definitely see that happening.
Our last book
I
that
believe you
we're
were
talking
involved in this
about,
book, aren't you?
I'm a ham or sometimes a shameless promoter, but I was involved with a book project earlier this year called Empowered in Pittsburgh. There are 11 local co-authors from the Pittsburgh region, from the surrounding counties. And this is actually a book that Tom Baker helped to coordinate. We talked about his other book, kind of a sequel to that, but talking to people who are involved in their local communities and how they're making the best out of the local area. So Empowered in Pittsburgh.
One of those stories is a man who was homeless and went on to become an Emmy Award-winning producer. So some rags to riches stories. If you feel like you're down on your luck or maybe things aren't going so well for you, there's always hope, and this book's really inspiring.
Yeah, it was interesting to work on an anthology because you've put together and submitted your piece to the editor before you've read the other ones, and so there's kind of an excitement about reading your book when it comes out.
Yep.
Because those other stories, like I said, are really really powerful. So these are some of my favorite things. A couple other items here on the other side. Now everyone doesn't get these because they're special. Our friends Abacus Jones, they have a 5-disc EP.
Five-track EP.
5-track.
Yep.
I'm sorry. 5 discs, that would be a lot more than an EP.
It's a box set, man.
Yeah. So they have of original music that's out. They've been on the show here before. We have a copy of their CD that's going to go to someone special. We also, there are some decent chains that are in the area that are willing to support the local community.
Right.
One that just moved in is the Olive Garden.
Our friend Harold there, he's the new manager.
Yep.
He's traveled to Tuscany to learn some of the trade, and I think he's a great addition here to the Uniontown Fayette County community.
So he's going to call Fayette County home. He has $25 worth of gift certificates to the new Olive Garden. The manager over at the Carmike Cinema,
Yep.
he gave us a couple free passes. So those are always great things. Those were stocking stuffers that my mom used to get us all the time. Is movie passes, great little gifts. Tom Baker, when he was here and dropped off his books, he said, "Why don't you take a couple audio books?" So he left us the audio version of Get Involved. It's abridged. He also gave us his second book, which is Give Our Passion, and it's an interesting book. Tom is a very active Republican, and Give Our Passion, GOP, are the initials, and he's talking about how Republicans should be called to be the party of service as well. So maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but an interesting piece all the same.
And Tom brings his points of view across very respectfully, and I think everyone can get something out of that.
Sure, absolutely. So we got a lot of great things. Oh, and I almost missed one of my favorites. This is my last-minute gift that I always go out and I buy a couple cases of wine and take them to all the people that we do business with and we talk to. And and deal with throughout the year. Local wineries. Christian W. Clay Winery. Why don't you tell us a little bit about their winery, Dave?
They're located in Chalk Hill, and also they have a location near Nemacolin and Woodlands. They have a storefront there right along the National Road, Route 40. This is their one of their special Christmas holiday brands here, Cranberry Crinkle. It is only sold, I believe, during November and December. It's a sparkling beverage here, and it can be paired with a lot of different foods. I think it's good with ham. For New Year's, it's a great way to kind of finish off your New Year's celebration. You can just enjoy
Did
it.
you drink one of the donating bottles that you know that it's good with ham?
I'm an
Is that what
expert,
you had
right?
for lunch? So it's a sparkling, is what we talked about.
Right.
Our guests, they have a little party after the show normally, so they'll get a chance to try that if they like. But because it's a sparkling, this would be appropriate maybe for New Year's. Is that
I
what
would
you
say
think?
so, yeah.
If I could get the cap off. Other local wineries, Dave.
There are several. Green Dance, I believe, is one that you've you've went to.
Sure.
They're in Mount Pleasant. Is that correct?
They are just across the border, so maybe we'll send some props to Westmoreland County for that.
But for folks, I forgot to mention, we talked about Gene and Boots being in the Uniontown Mall. For a limited time, I think until December 31st, Christian Clay Winery has a kiosk set up in Uniontown Mall, and they have some great gift baskets. If you're looking for a gift for that person that you think, oh, what the heck am I going to buy them? These gift baskets can please some pretty tough to buy for individuals.
Absolutely. So I know we are really short on time today. We've crammed a lot in, but these are a few of my favorite things, and I want to thank all of our donors and our guests that have come out that will receive these, but our donors that supplied us with these items. Really, these are great things that you can get to stuff your stocking. If you're looking for any of them, a lot of the books are carried at the Fayette Chamber of Commerce. You can contact the State Theater directly, Christian Clay directly. But if you can't find one of the items that we've talked about, I would give, she may kill me for saying this, I'd give Debbie a call at the Fayette Chamber of Commerce.
She's an expert.
724-437-4571. They're always willing to help you find local items. So if we mention something, and I apologize if we didn't say where you can get it, they'll be able to help you there. Call Debbie at 724-437-4571.
You know what? I know we are about to close out this show and bring on our musical guest, but I wanted to remind folks to please check us out for our New Year's Eve show, which is coming up, and our musical guest, Mr. Harold Betters, Mr. Trombone himself. I'm so excited.
New Year's Eve, we have a great night planned starting at 8 p.m. We're going to do some snippets. You and I will be talking about all of our musical guests throughout the year.
Taking a look back.
We'll have a short snippet of each of those, kind of a year in review. At 10 o'clock, we have a full episode of the show. And then we'll be celebrating New Year's and ringing that in with some band performances starting at midnight and running till a little after 1 a.m. Going to be a busy evening, a long evening, but enjoyable. I know that.
Absolutely.
So tune in. We're going to take a break from 11 till 12 that night, so you can watch Ryan Seacrest, even though he's not my favorite person. Dick Clark's gone, so why tune in?
R.I.P.
But you can watch us. If you want to stay with us, 11 to 12, we'll be playing the Wally Ginger Orchestra that evening as well. So without any further ado, once again, we're going to have Taylor Hackley close us with a holiday favorite. Taylor?
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. together. If the faith